Yo, what's good, YouTube? I wanted to make a quick video for anyone who's been peeping up what's going in the hip hop world, because for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna say this: J. Cole won. J. Cole won the hip hop war, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when J. Cole apologized, everybody was basically clowning him, saying it was pathetic, it wasn't masculine, it was a beta male thing to do, this, that, and the third. But one of the reasons, to quote J. Cole, that he was so zealous for not wanting to get into the war while he opted out was he knew that he wanted to see blood. His words, not mine. All right, so he had this feeling that it was going to go beyond lyricism and bars, and everybody ridiculed him. You know, I could name drop several content creators who roasted J. Cole, but I don't have the spirit, I don't have the desire to do that. All right, but everybody was on him, and on the other side of the rap beef between Kendrick and Drake, which was very entertaining to see from like an outsider perspective. We could see there's parts where it definitely escalated from just being about who's the best lyricist to taking personal shots, Kendrick towards Drake and Drake towards Kendrick, right? So it escalated beyond the point. So that's true. And beyond that, now just yesterday morning at 2 a.m., someone did a drive-by at Drake's crib and one of his bodyguards got shot. All right. Now we don't know who did this, and I don't think Kendrick was behind it. I think it was either a radical Kendrick fan or some people are suspecting there's beef between Drake's label or Drake's company and EXO in Toronto. I don't know. When it comes to these things, the Bible says to judge with righteous judgment. So, you have to make all the facts. You have to know all the facts before you make a concrete judgment. Everything like that. So I don't know what the reason is, but I'm just looking back and saying J. Cole vindicated in hindsight. And it's not about J. Cole, but it's about the principles. Listen, I think J. Cole could have handled the situation better, but the principle of following your convictions and the principle of sinning when you know what the right thing is to do and you don't do it, those are principles that comes from the Bible. So from that reason, I can't get mad at J. Cole for apologizing because of the scriptural principles, even if he could have handled the situation better, this, that, and the third. All right? So we dropped a Zoom discussion a couple weeks ago about if J. Cole's apology was good for the culture or not. Because that was at a time when everybody was still against J. Cole. Lo and behold, on the other side of this rap beat, people are starting to see and they're realizing that he was right all along. Like, that's the sentiment of the community right now when you look at all these comment posts and comment threads. All right? Now let me finish this by saying it's not about J. Cole at all. It's about the biblical principles. It's about the God of Zion, because the Bible says, Christ said, wisdom will be justified by her children. So people might think you're crazy, but in the long end, if something is really wise, if something is really of sound judgment, it'll be vindicated when all is said and done. And we could see that from the lens of J. Cole's apology, because he felt he was convicted in his spirit. And now we're on the other side. When everyone mocked him for thinking he would get violent, now we're on the other side where the beef escalated and there's drive-bys happening at Drake's mansion. All right, so now it did escalate. What nobody thought would happen, happened. All right, so all that is to say, the Most High God, His wisdom, His principles are not just to be ignored or breezed upon. I think this is a lesson for the black community because we tend to be very reactive to things. Again, the Bible says to judge not by appearances, but by righteous judgment. And that sort of means you got to get all the facts and make a balanced judgment with the principles of God in mind in any situation. All right. So if you're going to do that, you can't just react right off the bat so quick without having all the facts. And so people are jumping on J. Cole, which is judging by appearances, not by righteous judgment, when we look at the principle. And at the end, we see that principle being vindicated. So I just wanted to give my 2 cents. The Bible says to be in the world, but not of the world. So I think we can be part of the culture, look at the culture, be commentators on the culture. In that sense, but when it gets ungodly and when it gets wicked and when it gets absolutely demonic, that's when we as Christians, as saints, push back against all of that stuff. So that's the sort of framework I have in my mind, to be in the culture, but not of the culture. So all that being said, all praises to God. Blessings to all of those who recognize the Messiah. And I'll see y'all in the next video. All right. Peace.